All right.
All right, welcome to week 16. Another 3-2 week. We went into Monday night and we were at 500. We've been kind of scratching and clawing our way back to that number for the last what? God, I don't even know how many
All
weeks.
season, all season, literally
Yeah,
every
Yeah,
week.
I don't think we've been above 500.
yeah. Yeah, because what did we start? What was our week one?
Like
I feel
two,
like two
three.
and three. I feel like we went
Jamie, pull that up. Let's see, week two.
Because I'm pretty sure I think I hit, but you guys didn't, and then I think we split on the prime time.
So we went,
we definitely didn't win on Sunday night because we lost our
yes,
first like eight Sunday nights.
we went 2-3 in week one, and then we went 2-3 in week two, and then we went 1-3-1, and we've
Yeah,
been
we never had like any 4-1s or
yeah,
anything like enough, or at least enough to turn it around.
We had
yeah.
1-4-1, I believe. I boofed the only pick of one week. But
Yeah, because we had let's see, what was it, yeah, because week one we needed that Monday night to go 2-3, right? And we lost the Sunday night, so we were like,
yeah,
what, 1-2 going into that?
Yeah.
yeah, the Rogers game.
Was I'm just trying to see. Yeah, we lost the Steelers 40. We were out of that Steelers 49ers game early. So you could say
Yeah,
we started the season 0-1. It was like from the jump of that game. It was an early game. So we've been under 500 all season from like opening kickoff, basically.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Way to look at it. All right.
yeah.
So yeah, hold on. I gotta hold on. I'm pulling my nuggies out of the oven here. Hold on. Hold on. This would be great for the audience.
Yeah, no, it's a good start. We
Um,
rehashed our first 3 weeks like Mike Francesa, and then pulled some chicken nuggets out of the oven.
like Princess. We're gonna see. Yeah, if we go back and look at if we look at the numbers, the metrics, we'll see a big drop off within like the first 90 seconds. Um, so yeah, we got into Monday night. We were at 500, needed the Eagles. Went into the fourth quarter, I think what, leading by
Terrible.
10? Leading by
Yeah,
10.
terrible.
And what did Jalen do? What did he throw? 2 picks in the fourth, and
Stinks.
Seahawks come all the way back. I mean, we were even like, even with that final drive, if they had just found a way to stop, we were still outside the number. Like we had it, I mean, they were up by 4. Spread was 3.5. And they just marched down the fucking field. It was unbelievable. And then who's the scrub? I saw the video. They targeted the same fucking guy.
Bradbury.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
He gave up like 60 yards in the
He's
last
the guy
drive.
that had the penalty at the end of the Super Bowl.
Well, and then I saw a video too. Debo was like, Bradbury's trash.
Yeah, I respect Slay, but
Yeah.
Bradbury's trash.
Yeah. Yeah. Tough look. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, short-lived, 24 hours at the 500 mark. But we're 36, 37-2 overall. So again, I mean, we're, right there. Obviously we got a 3-2 week this week. We can get to 500, but given there are only 3 weeks left in the regular season, obviously would love to finish with a strong 15-0 sprint.
Yep.
So just to recap all the games from last week, Bowen back-to-back weeks with the Bears.
Yep.
Bowen had the Bears plus 3.5 against Cleveland. It was a close game, back and forth.
Yep.
Cleveland wins by a field goal. Did that go to overtime, or did they just win it? Did they win it at
They won it. They won it outright, but it was like trending towards OT for a second,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
It felt like it was going to be, and then they didn't.
yeah.
The Bears kind of just stunk it
Well,
out.
the Bears, I mean, I forget, I don't know what receiver it was, but he had the ball in his lap in the end zone.
Darnell Mooney.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh, that was unbelievable. Yeah.
Nightmares.
Oh my
Nightmare.
God. Oh my God. But yeah, great cover there.
Yep.
Kiernan, you were on the Titans -2.5. What were we up? 13-0?
Yeah, at least 13-0. That was definitely the
I
score.
mean, that was just like, and then they just did nothing. They did nothing. Awful sequences at the end of that game. I think Levis ends up getting hurt. Is he playing? Is he okay?
It's a high ankle sprain. He said that, he wants to get back out there as soon as he can. He's hoping for this week, but I don't think there's been any official word on it. I know that Tannehill is the official backup, so if he can't go, it's Tannehill.
Probably the most shocking part of that game was the Derrick Henry line.
Yeah.
16 rushes for 9 yards. 4 receptions for 1 yard. The man gained 10 yards in the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that bad is shocking no matter what. I do think in hindsight, it's really not that surprising that D'Amico Ryan's defensive-minded guy, uh,
Yeah,
rookie
yeah,
head coach coming in, and this is a division rival that has consistently just dominated this team on the ground. So it really doesn't surprise me that they came out and said, "Let's stop Derrick Henry at all costs." Of course, 10 total yards is shocking no matter which way you spin it, but
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I think it does. It makes sense in hindsight that Derrick Henry wouldn't be in position for a big game.
yeah. To actually have like negative return, on
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy, crazy. And then I was on the Rams -6.5. Made it a little interesting at the end there. But for the most part, pretty comfortable kind of throughout that game. They dominated the Commanders. I mean, very similar to what we actually just saw last night, where they kind of let the Commanders back in late. Maybe something to keep in mind if there's a betting opportunity there at some point with the Rams, but it seems like the last couple of weeks at least they get really soft when they're on big leads. Teams have to take advantage of that, but nonetheless, got the cover.
They're a good team. They're a very good team.
The Rams.
Rams are a problem.
They're interesting. I mean, it's what are they, 8-7 now with the win tonight? They seem to be finding something. I mean, even like thinking about the loss to the Ravens a few weeks ago, because I think we were on the Ravens to cover that. And they went in there, like went into their house, like adverse conditions, played them tough. But I mean, Cup seems to be getting healthier. Nakua has been great. Kyron Williams continues to be great. Like they've got all of their weapons out there. I mean, that offense is very, very potent. So they could be an interesting, I don't know if they can go all the way, but could potentially be an interesting sleeper for the postseason in that NFC race. So, but yeah, they're playing really good football. Funny too. I mean, I remember like week 1, they were one of the teams we were talking about. Like people were saying they were going to be one of the worst teams in the league, and they're, 8-7, 4-1 in the division. The only loss in the division is to the 49ers. And I mean, this was early in the season. I don't know how much you guys remember that, but like they played them tough.
Yeah.
They played them really tough. I mean, it was a 1-possession game. So, all right. So we were 2-1 going into Sunday night. We had the Ravens -3. Kind of back and forth a little bit early, and then just a tremendous fourth quarter. They really pulled away there. And really just asserted their dominance towards the end of that game. So great, another Sunday night win. 7-8 on Sunday night, which is pretty good considering I think we started 0-5. I think we lost 5 straight Sunday night games.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
And that took us into Monday night, which we already talked about. Very unfortunate. We're 8-6-1 on Monday night games. Yeah. So that's where we are from week 15. Any thoughts? Anything we haven't covered just from the week?
No, I mean, I think, at this point, of course, I think we're very much out of the money, but as always, the goal just remains to at least finish with a respectable record. So,
Yep.
we got that taste of 500. Let's get over there officially. Next week's call, we'll be talking about how we're over 500 for sure. And yeah, let's just finish with a good record. Try and get to that. What is it, 53% that
Yeah.
you need to turn a profit with with the juice and everything. So, yeah, let's just keep it going.
I'll say this too. I mean, I think, I like the way the format works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think too, it's, I think as we continue to go, we'll probably get more and more comfortable with the format, but I do feel like, especially over the last 5 or 6 weeks, even if we haven't covered every game, even Kieran, some of the games that you've lost with your picks over the last few weeks, like it felt like we were on the right side for most of the
Yeah, I
game.
feel like I've lost like, I don't know, 4 or 5 in a row. I feel like they've all been one possession games, all been ones where it's been like a late flip or something. So it's like I've been
Yeah.
Maybe it's been a month about since you last. It's
I don't
been
know,
four
I
or
don't know
five
how
in a
long it's
row.
actually been. I mean, I'm on a little
God,
bit of a losing streak, but it's like it doesn't
Yeah.
feel like it because it's like
no.
everyone has been so competitive.
They
But
haven't, they haven't like it. They feel like they've been good picks. You've had good reads,
yeah,
So it's, and I feel like overall, like the three of us with our individual picks, even if the win-loss record doesn't totally show it, I feel like we've just continued to have like better reads overall on our best bets. So I think that's working in our favor. I think it's been really, I mean, hat tip to us. I mean, to start 0-5 on Sunday night, and then we're at 7-8. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's like we've done a much better job there. And Monday night, I think I'd have to go back and look at every game, but 8-6-1 is our record on Monday night. I feel like we've I can't think of any like totally egregious reads that we've had. But overall, I feel like the model, like the format's working.
I think it regulates my brain almost to not think about every game, and
Yeah,
because you have those two prime times where you have to pick them, and I
yeah,
really just have like two picks a week pretty much that I go into for the rest of the card that I really
yeah,
feel good about, and
yeah,
yeah, it's been good. I
yeah,
enjoy
no,
the format a
exactly.
lot.
I think that this is the way that we want to stick with it. For the format, and like you were saying when you first brought it up, Tristan, I think maybe the first couple weeks it was like we weren't really uh totally comfortable with picking, our best bet, and I think we were kind of figuring out our own processes individually
yeah,
and just figuring out exactly how we arrive at that bet, and yeah, I mean, I think, we were talking about it with my losses, but I think all of our reads have just been really strong all year. And it's like you're
yeah,
saying, Zach, where, just having to focus on, call it 5 total games, really, right? You want to get like your
yeah,
three for, safety and then the 2 primetime games. So being able to just hone it in there and not have to,
yeah,
being able to just like comfortably pass on a game and be like, I don't even want to try and find a spread or try and find an angle on
Yeah,
that game. So
yeah,
yeah, being able
yep,
to just cross them off the list and then really channel it in is great.
yep, for sure. All right. Well, all that being said, now that we've probably jinxed the fuck out of it,
5-0, five
should
and
we
0 week.
should we go to the wheel? We're gonna rattle off 5 straight L's right now.
Yeah, pretty good chance. Wow.
Kristen leading off.
Oh shit. All right. Um, well, I was yeah, I didn't know if I'd be using this one, but it's probably a bit of a square pick. I'm not gonna lie, but I like it. I'm going with the Bills minus 12.5 over the Chargers. Bills are playing really good football right now. They've won 2 straight, great wins against Kansas City and Dallas. Obviously, very dominant effort last week. They had that narrow loss to Philly, great competitive game. They still have a path to win the East. They got to win out, and one of those wins includes a Week 18 game against Miami. So if Miami drops another game and they win out, including Week 18, which could become a showdown, to win the AFC East. There's a path there because they already blew them out earlier this year. Um, The Chargers, meanwhile, they just got the doors blown off by the Raiders. You know, and even though Staley's out, I mean, you know, I'm not necessarily seeing this as a situation like we typically do, where like the interim coach comes in and the team gets a bump. You know, because they were underperforming. You know, they had all these great guys. They wanted to get this guy out of the locker room. You know, obviously, you know, the Raiders come to mind with, you know, with McDaniels, because he doesn't have like, who is the, I don't even know who the interim coach is, but
Yeah.
he doesn't have the guys that Staley has had all year. Like he's got Easton Stick at fucking quarterback. He's got a washed up Austin Eckler. I don't think Keenan Allen's playing.
No, he's
Um,
ruled out. He's
yeah,
ruled
he's
out.
out, right? I mean, this is a team that like they got nothing. And you got an interim coach that's coming in. He's got to try and motivate a team that's got nothing. And they're going up against a team that, like, I mean, you know, nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And I think those wagons are circled right now. I think they're going to romp this week. I love them minus 12.5.
Yeah, I like it as well. That was one of my picks. Speaking of the interim coach, I also don't know who it is, but one thing that I do know is that Kellen Moore, I believe, turned down the opportunity to be the interim coach, which to me almost feels like,
Smart.
Oh my
Smart.
God.
yeah,
Wait, that's a real thing?
I'm pretty sure. I saw something online about him not wanting to be the interim coach or something, and to me, that's like looking at the roster and being like, I don't want to get bad head coaching tape out there and worrying about that.
I,
Yeah, and I feel like they're also, you know, we talked about it with what the Panthers, and
Crazy.
I bet against them, and they ended up covering. What was that against the Bucks? But
yeah.
you know, I was saying it's like not every team gets that interim bump, and of course the Raiders, they got theirs. The Panthers, they got theirs in terms of the spread. The Raiders won outright. And then here, yeah, it just feels like they're also running into the wrong team at a bad time here because the Bills, they need to keep winning. They're rolling, they're coming off a big win, and there is always the opportunity for a letdown spot coming off that type of win. But I feel like they have like the right energy, and I feel like the Bills are a really dangerous team right now. So I feel like they want to keep it rolling. I think Josh Allen as a leader is the type of personality that you know, wants to keep things going like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they came in and won like 40-0 or something.
I think when he's high, he's high. And when
Yeah.
he's that's what he strikes me as, you know. And I
Yeah.
think he's obviously very high, he's very confident. Even this week, I mean, he's kind of been named the starter of the all-white team.
Yeah.
Uh, and
True.
that's got to give you a bit of a boost, you know. You got to feel good about that. So I think he's gonna come in with a lot of confidence. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you guys, I agree with everything you said. Not much else to say. Um, totally see it get out of hand like really, really quick. So yeah, yeah. I mean, big number, but I mean, could be a big blowout. So
we've taken down bigger numbers this year.
we have, we
We've
really
done it.
have.
We've done it,
Yeah,
and I'm
seen it.
confident we can take this one.
Yep, love it.
All
All right,
right.
back to the wheel.
Back to the wheel. All right. I'm up.
Maybe.
All right.
Now, let me stop sharing. I'm gonna go with, let me just pull up the official. Let me just look at the prior records. But I'm going with the Cardinals +4 against the Bears. This is one, you know, the Cardinals, they are a couple picks ahead. The Bears, of course, they're starting to win a couple games. I just feel like the Bears are due for a loss here. I think they've won what, one or two in a row. Um, I saw that they haven't won like 3 home games in a row since 2019. I understand that they're playing good football right now. Yeah, they won 2 in a row. They lost to Cleveland last week. That's right. But yeah, I just feel like they were getting a little too high. I feel like it's time for the Bears to come back to earth a little bit. And with how they're playing, I feel like I would expect maybe even you know, with it being 2 bad teams, the Bears being at home, I feel like they could almost be earning a few more points here. But the Cardinals are coming off a big loss. They just gave up 45 points to the Niners. I think it's just a good bounce back spot for them. Go out and play some competitive football, keep it a little bit tighter than last week. And like I said, I feel like the Bears are maybe trending towards another loss here. So I feel like this is where we get some drama
I
in the
like it.
draft order.
What's the number on it?
I
Three and
thought
a half.
about it. It
Cardinals
was, you know, it
+4.
didn't make it on my
4.
top three, but when I looked at that game, that to me, it struck me as a, you know, because Bowen, you've obviously taken the Bears back-to-back weeks. They've covered both.
Mm, mm.
Um, Up to Did I lose you guys? We still here?
No, you're still here.
But you know, we've covered with the Bears the last 2 weeks, and this just strikes me as the perfect week where you keep riding that train, and then all of a sudden you're
Yep.
like, nah, the Bears just drop a dud.
Yeah, so I mean, closing
So
number, I think they ended up closing at 2.5. So, but if you want to count the number
Yeah.
that we had, they've covered in 4 straight, and then the one that they didn't cover their fifth game in that order. They were 3.5 point favorites. They won by 3, so they've been playing really well around the spread. And yeah, I just feel like it's time for them to maybe just have a bad game, just put a bad game in.
I also think the Cardinals have found a little bit on offense. James Conner's been back and healthier and been actually pretty effective, which is a huge plus for that offense and kind of takes a burden off Kyler to have to use his legs as much. I don't know if Hollywood's playing, but I'm not sure that totally matters much. I don't think Hollywood is that much of a game changer.
And with the way McBride's been playing, and I think that they
Yeah.
tightened it up a little bit, but the Bears, they have been really bad. That was a player prop that we were playing early in the season, was just playing tight ends against the Bears. And with the way that McBride's been getting targeted a ton, like double-digit targets a game, and putting up, I think he just had 100 yards last week. So, that could be a big Trey McBride game. And yeah, I just feel like this is a good one, good opportunity for the Cardinals to come in, get a win, and make things interesting with the draft order.
I like it. I like the pick.
Solid
All right.
pick.
Cardinals +4.
All right, let's see. Am I on the
Back
right
to the wheel.
on the wrong one? All right. Bowen.
Oh, Bowen. All
All
right.
right. All right. I'm going with the Browns 2.5 away in Houston. CJ Stroud is not going to be playing. Will Anderson is doubtful, I believe, or he has been practicing this week. Um, I believe Case Keenum is a bum. He had his cute moment last week. It was very Case, very cute. Loved it. Everyone loved it. Love Case. I don't think that happens again. The Browns defense is still very, very good. Um, you know, they're a problem. The Texans are really beat up. I don't know who's going to be necessarily back for the Texans. For the receivers, I don't know if Nico Collins is going to be playing yet. I think he has been limited in practice all week. So who knows if he'll be in, but I don't know if he'll make much of a difference. I don't think he'll have much of a rapport with Case Keenum. And I just think this Texans run game that has been pretty solid, was solid last week with Devin Singletary kind of leading the pack there. The Browns are super stout up front. They don't really allow much rushing production throughout the season. So I think they kind of stifle that, make Case Keenum stand in the pocket, have to make some throws to Noah Brown, maybe Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz. I'll roll the dice on that. I think Joe Flacco can put up enough points against the Texans. Without their, Will Anderson has been productive for them all year. Big run stopper for them. I think the Browns can move the ball pretty easily against this defense.
Yeah, in some ways, this is a playoff game for both teams because the Browns, they're the first wild card team. They're at 9-5. The Texans, they're on the outside looking in right now, so they are next up. They're the first team out of the wild card, but a win over the Browns would get them into it. So, I think it's an important game for both teams, but it does feel like the Browns are, maybe the more legit playoff team. And I feel like if they want to put their foot in the ground and establish themselves and put things away, if they can get to 10 wins here, they should feel pretty comfortable with their position in the wild card race for the end of the year. And then, I guess if they get to 10 wins, and then who knows if Baltimore loses to San Francisco, then all of a sudden they're in the race for the division as well. So
did they beat the Ravens earlier in the year too? Or am I just making that up? Did DTR beat Lamar? Or am I'm making that up? I'm making that up.
I think the Ravens
they
smoked
did.
them.
They beat them 33-3.
Yeah, I completely made that up. Okay.
No, that's okay. So, all right, well, hold on.
It was Deshaun Watson, but they won 33-31.
All right, like let's also acknowledge like the Ravens schedule is not a cupcake. So they got the 49ers, they got the Dolphins, they got the
Yeah.
Steelers. Um,
It's a
you know,
brutal stretch.
yeah, it's a tough stretch. The Browns, meanwhile, um, Texans, Jets, Bengals.
Yeah.
Much more navigable schedule down the stretch here. So, anything's possible.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, just if we're gonna make this whole argument for the Browns, I mean, the Texans are in like pretty much the exact same spot. But I just agree. I think the Texans, they got their win last week, and that was a huge comeback. Of course, that was at the expense of our record. But yeah, I just feel like following up that type of situation. I mean, maybe Case Keenum is just like he's like the baller that Josh Dobbs was supposed to be, or something like that. But I like the way that the Browns are playing. I like the way that Flacco's playing. I like what he's bringing. He's starting to get some comeback player of the year buzz. People are looking for anything to get DeMar Hamlin out of
DeMar
there.
Hamlin out of there.
But hey, if Flacco wins out and goes like, what would he be like 5-1 to end the season?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's an
listen,
interesting conversation.
if
That's pretty interesting.
if Flacco can beat DeMar Hamlin for comeback player of the year, it settles the debate as to whether or not Joe Flacco is elite.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it just puts it to
He
bed.
beat a dead guy.
He beat a dead guy. I mean, you can't get more elite than that. Like
Defeated against the dead.
yeah,
I want to know.
unbelievable. Wait, when's like where? I'm looking at all right, DeMar Hamlin. You get a game log here. DeMar Hamlin has not played since. Oh Jesus, this guy's got no stats this year. That's I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. All right. I don't want to do it. I respect the dead.
Yeah.
Two solo tackles.
Yeah, two. Yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty good. That's a dead guy. Yeah. Solid.
All right, we're going back to the wheel Sunday game.
He might be the most anti DeMar Hamlin pod out there, bro. Up
Who?
there. Us.
I'm like the most pro DeMar Hamlin guy ever. I'm like
No, you're not, bro. No, you're not.
I'm like the guy that's fighting the war against people that like.
You are not fighting the. Bro, you're
100%. Are we talking about the same thing? I'm like the guy that's like tired of everybody that constantly bringing up how he shouldn't win it. I think it's like the worst argument ever. The guy died, and people want to like all of a sudden people care about DeMar Hamlin, and or people care about the Comeback Player of the Year award and like the integrity of the award. All of a sudden people care about that. Yeah, people arguing for Josh Dobbs. People wanted Josh Dobbs to win the award. I don't know what the hell did he come back from. Like,
Nah, dude's a loser.
It's one of those things where like you kind of have to just like go all the way with it. Like they probably should have just given him the award at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And maybe just name the fucking award after him. The guy died.
Yeah.
That's what my whole thing is like. All of a sudden, people are like, "No, it should go to like an actual person recording stats." That blah blah blah. It's like you really think that like I don't care if somebody comes back, like Adrian Peterson coming off the ACL and rushing for like 2,000 yards. It's like I do not think that that's more impressive than somebody dying on the field. We all watched it. And then he comes back and plays.
What I'm saying. Like they should just name the fucking award after him.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they will. After
You cannot come back more than what he did. You literally cannot.
Yeah, and maybe they will. I mean, I think they had.
You can play a little more. You can play a little more, but you probably can't come back more than he did.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just what I never understood. It's like, I mean, like, I see the argument for Tua. Like, he was in a very similar spot, especially in the national spotlight.
His brain was dead.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's like,
there
was that, but it's like, I mean, what? Like, Brees Hall really is, like, he deserves to, he's had a better comeback. No, it's like the worst argument ever.
No, Brees Hall got me 2.6 fantasy
points. And people can't even name, like, the last, like, 5 Comeback Player of the Year winners, and now all of a sudden they're like, he absolutely does not deserve this award.
Oh. That was a great.
It's crazy.
You sound like a Republican.
Yeah, it's like a Jerry Callahan type thing.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, let's do it.
Is this the grossest primetime game of the year? Just all things considered.
I
I feel
can't
like
believe
anytime everybody thinks it's going to be a shitty game, it ends up being kind of a banger.
but I can't believe they kept it.
I can't believe it. I
Yeah,
can't believe it.
How did they not flex it? Do they just want to shit on Belichick? Is that
I don't know.
the
They've been really advertising it as like a Christmas special, so like maybe they just had so much stuff, like so much time and stuff invested into this
Mhm.
game that they couldn't move off of it. Like I mean, they flexed them out of the Monday night spot. So I don't know. Something tells me that it has to do with it being Christmas Eve. Like they probably already had too many things locked up logistically. That would be
that's
my guess.
no.
Uh,
All right.
Is that
really not.
interesting?
I'm up, huh? I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have much for this game other than it's a low total. I think when you got a low total, you take the points. I think Belichick's
Mhm.
tanking. We've talked about this. This was Kieran's theory. I will say, Kieran, and I have ever since you talked about the concept of Belichick being like the greatest tanker of all time, I run with that every time somebody asks me, what's going on with the Patriots? What's going on with the Patriots? And I give them that pitch, and people are just like, oh, yeah, you're right. It is. It's the greatest tank job of all time. I mean, they're basically in every game, and they're finding a way to remain competitive. Vegas doesn't have a high total for this. The Broncos are a little unpredictable. I think you got a little bit of like, Jekyll and Hyde here. Some weeks they're good, some weeks they're bad. Last week was a bad. I mean, they got fucking smoked. What was it, 42-17 against the Lions? I think they ran into a little bit of a tough spot there going on the road. Into Detroit. Lions were looking for a big game. Saturday matchup. Goff lights them up. But I don't know. Patriots getting 6. That's hard for me to pass up. So I like the Pats here.
So
If we just want to make it easy, I don't know what you were going to say, Bowen, but yeah, pretty much all the same things. I just think it's going to be a low scoring game, defensive effort. If the Pats lose by 7-10, I think you just got to live with it. But I think for the most part, you're going to expect it to be within a touchdown. And, I mean, I think this is a game where, talking about Belichick being the greatest tanker, all that, I feel like this is a game that they end up stealing. It's what was it? Is this Christmas Eve that it's on?
Yep.
Christmas
Yeah.
Eve,
He's the
prime
Grinch.
time.
The Grinch.
Yeah, all that's
Yeah.
exactly. Just Belichick's the Grinch. I feel like this is maybe a game that we steal. It's just tough. The Broncos are 7-7. They're back in the wild card race, but it's just tough to win all those games when you have that bad of a start. So I feel like maybe we're starting to see a little bit of a regression from Denver based off of last week, and maybe that's part of it too. So I think that this is going to be a game that's within a touchdown. Maybe the Pats win it, but I think in a touchdown you got to take 6 points.
Let me just add this too, and Bowen, I want to hear your thoughts, but I just want to add this quick before I lose it. If you look at the standings for the league, in regards to like draft pick, nobody's going to beat the Panthers. Like they're going to have the number 1 pick. The Cardinals 3-11. So they're tied with the Patriots right now. But I mean, the Cardinals are very much in a spot like that's a winnable. We just talked about that, right? Like we're taking the Cardinals with the points, but like very much seems like an outright spot. And I think they're fighting, they're battling. And then you got the Commanders who are 4-10, so they're a game ahead of the Patriots, but the Commanders beat them. So the Patriots own the tiebreaker in terms of draft order. So this is one of those games where like I also think the Pats can afford to steal. Which I think makes it more intriguing. In terms of taking the points. But Bowen, what do you got?
So ultimately it was Pats +6. Only thing I was gonna say is the Pats injury outlook this week. Hunter Henry has not been practicing. Jabril Peppers has not been practicing. Those are 2 guys that offense and defense have been leaning on recently, and Jabril has really been playing well all year. Hunter Henry's come on as of late, and kind of been Zappy's go-to guy recently. So that was the only thing that kind of made me a little bit nervous. But 6 is way too many points for Russell Wilson, in his big brain. So yeah, I mean Pats +6. Not going to pick against the Pats. So yeah, no, I mean it had to be the pick. Had to be the pick.
One
But
one thing I will
those
say
injuries can.
in regards to the draft order and everything is that um it's not impossible. I mean, if Carolina can win one more game, I mean, it would take the Pats losing out. But strength of schedule, we're like neck and neck with Carolina, so we're actually close on the tiebreaker there. So, if there were any way where Carolina won an extra game and we didn't win any more for the rest of the year, it is doable. It is doable, but
Is strength of schedule the ultimate tiebreaker?
I'm pretty sure that's what I think that's the first tiebreaker when it comes, or maybe
Well,
it's like I think maybe head to head.
Did you see the
yeah.
did you see the fake Adam Schefter account that tweeted out that David Tepper was on the Epstein list?
No.
Yeah.
Yo, honestly,
And Schefter replied to it, and he was like, "Oh, this is what's the word?" But he was, this is libel.
Schefter actually replied.
Yeah, he actually replied,
That's awful.
but he was, "Oh, this is libel. What's Twitter gonna do? What's X gonna do about this?" And it's like, buddy, they're not gonna do anything. It's free speech.
Yeah.
Like this fucking Elon guy talks about free speech all the time. He doesn't give a shit.
Well, Elon Musk, like literally, when it was like the Chilean coal miners or something, I forget what it was, but it was like people were like stuck in like a mine or a cave or something like that, and
Yeah.
there's
Argentina.
some guy leading the efforts to save them, and Elon Musk like just called that guy a pedophile for no reason.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, what's he gonna do? I mean,
Yeah. So they did suspend the account. So they
That's
suspended the account, but yeah, Schefter replied, he goes, "This is completely false. X needs to respond to defamatory, untrue statements like this." But it's like the damage is done.
Yeah.
You know? It like
Also, I just feel like that's one of those things where it's like you just shouldn't give it like any attention at all if you're Adam Schefter.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's like major like Streisand effect. Like,
Yeah.
like I mean, I didn't hear about it until you brought it up, but it's like I feel like you probably wouldn't have brought it up unless Adam Schefter, replied to it or not. So
Yeah. It's hilarious though.
now part of my take will probably talk about him eating the trash and
Absolutely. Absolutely.
but all
All
right.
right.
Monday Night Football.
I feel like I know the answer to this, but
All right, Ball.
All right. Give me the Niners. 5.5. The number's so high. It really doesn't make sense to me. I figured it'd be closer to a field goal. 5.5 is a lot of points. It's a gross number, but I'm envisioning this is just my brain, me and mine's. I'm envisioning a 28-21 clean football game. Niners win by 7.
what are the
That's
odds?
28-21.
Yeah. Didn't you hit one? Didn't you hit an exact score?
I hit it was Texas, Alabama, 34-20, I believe.
Like, how the fuck did you ever?
I was at dinner. I was actually going to the bathroom at dinner. Needed some juice in the game because it was on and I was at dinner and just
Were you taking a dump in a restaurant?
no, I was just at the urinal. I'm a big phone urinal guy. Yeah. But yeah,
Wow,
I don't know.
You threw that in a urinal?
Yeah.
It's like a one-handed bet.
Yeah, dude. I don't
That's
even know if I looked at the bet. I just had to plug something in. So
Jesus.
yeah. Yeah, that was a dart throw, but sometimes it works. But yeah, I like the Niners. I'm a Brockhead, like I said previously. Yeah, I don't know. Just spread's too high if it's fishy to me.
Brandon? You want me to go?
I mean,
I'll go.
I will say, I mean, if you want me to show you, I'll cover up all my other stuff, but I have a blank spot. I have a blank spot on my list where I put my Monday night game. So
Wait, is this like a game time decision for you?
kinda, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let me by the way, if you were to put, I'm just putting this out there. If you were to put $10 on the 49ers beating the Ravens 28-21, you would win, and that happens, you would win 2,300.
Wow.
I mean, now that I put it out in the air, I like have to put like
That's the thing.
at least that on it. I mean,
Like, I might just throw a buck on it just to be
Yeah.
honest.
just
All that
something.
being said, I'm on the Ravens plus 5.5.
Fair.
They're underdogs. I like them in the spot. They're talking about it. They're motivated. I think it's a potential Super Bowl matchup. The Ravens are 19-5 against the spread as underdogs since 2018. Harbaugh 53, 34, and 3 against the spread as a dog. This is also one of those things, like we talked about this a couple days ago. I think the stats started flying around about like the Ravens being like the Ravens in this underdog trend spot. And I think we made the joke where we were like, all the trends, all the signs are pointing to take the Ravens, and we'll take the Niners, and then the Ravens will cover, and we'll be sitting there wondering what happened. Like that's like how could this happen?
It sounds exactly like something I do like 4 times a week.
It's like being at the roulette table, and it's like my buddy in college who literally lost his entire bank account because he like red just continued to hit 14 spins in a row, and he just kept saying black's gonna hit, black's gonna hit, black's gonna hit.
Oh my god.
Black didn't hit until he ran out of money and he left the table. It did hit when he looked back from like 30 yards away. He has a gambling problem. He's now in Gamblers Anonymous.
Okay.
But yeah, I just like this is one of those things where like as tempted as I am to, acknowledge that the 49ers are a wagon, that they're fully healthy, that everything is going in their direction. I think the Ravens are a good football team. They're embracing the spot. The trends all point in the direction of the Ravens. And I'm not going to ignore the trends. I'm gonna go with the trends. That's my pick. Kieran.
I'm scrolling through some stats.
Mm.
One really interesting one that I just saw. Teams with a 70% or better win percentage in December or later who are listed as underdogs.
Are you on Action Network?
Yeah.
I saw this.
They are
I
48,
saw this
72,
one.
and 3. That's 40% against the spread in the regular season. That applies to two teams. That's Dallas and Baltimore this week. I'm kind of taking the same approach as Bowen here. I just feel like it's one of those things where maybe everybody catches up to the trend. Lamar against the NFC, what is it, like a 95% win percentage? I do think that against the spread, he's closer to 500 there. I think he's maybe a slight profit, maybe a slight loss, but it's right around 500 there. So it's a little bit different against the spread. It's a little bit different of a story, but to me, I feel like, and if we get burnt by the trend, we get burnt by the trend. But to me, I just feel like it's one of those where we're going to be in the first quarter, late in the first quarter, second quarter, something like that. It's going to be like 14-0. We're going to be like, oh boy. Uh, I just feel like this 49ers team is stacked. They're at home. I think that they just outmatch this Baltimore team. I think that the Baltimore defense is playing well. I do kind of worry about the Baltimore offense holding up. They just lost Keaton Mitchell. That's a really dynamic player for them. Of course, Gus Edwards has been effective for them as like a short yardage guy, but I don't know if they have a guy that can really, eat up those ground yards right now. Besides Lamar. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the Niners are going to come ready to play. I think that they're kind of in that mindset right now. I think that they might be the best team in the league. And yeah, I just, to me, I just feel like the rosters, it's too much of a mismatch.
All right, 49ers it is. It's gonna I can't wait for this game. I can't wait for this game because like we're either gonna be brilliant or we're gonna be sitting there saying to ourselves, like, well, we went against the trends, and it like, so we'll see what happens.
Kind of like to Kieran's point though, it just feels like a weirdly square pick. Like it just feels like everybody's gonna be on the Ravens just because of that number. And Yeah, just can't have that. Can't be feeling like that.
I can buy that. I mean, I can buy that. Like we joke about that all the time. Like we'll often send, it's like Barstool will post like they'll make a post about like, oh, like, there was one last year where it was like you know, like, teams have not lost to a left-handed quarterback since like 2000, like, 13. And it was like, whatever, they're going against two. And it's like everybody was kind of bet against the Dolphins. And it's like you bet on the Dolphins. Like, it just like it was one of those things where like as soon as something becomes public knowledge, that's the time to fade it. It like that's the moment. It's like once it's out there, it's dead, and maybe this is one of those instances. So
Yeah, and in a way, it's also kind of like a hedge on my Lamar MVP bet. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
he ends up winning the game, it's like, oh no, like my MVP, he just beat
here.
the
Yeah.
Niners at
Because I mean he's
San
Here.
gonna slide.
Francisco, but
Yeah.
He's gonna probably slide like at least like even with Purdy, right? If he wins this game, like minimum like
I
dead
feel like
even
if he
with
gets a
Purdy.
head-to-head win, I feel like he'll probably go over him in the odds.
Yeah.
He'll become the new favorite, and then Josh
Yeah.
Allen will end up winning it.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, think about how many different uh favorites there have been throughout the
It's like
season.
every 2 weeks there's a new one.
Every 2 weeks it changes. It's like Josh Allen's 8-1 now, and it's like, what I was talking about earlier. I mean, if the Bills win out, right, and the Dolphins like trip up, let's say the Dolphins lose this week, and then the Bills win out, and suddenly the Bills win the AFC East, like now all of a sudden, like, Josh Allen could win the MVP,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Dak's still lingering, he's there. Christian McCaffrey, 12-1. He's got the support of Peyton and Brady,
And Brock
And
Purdy.
the MVP favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's a thing too. It's like McCaffrey has a big week this week, and it's like all of a sudden, I mean, now might be the time you gotta like, this might be the last time you can get good value in McCaffrey,
Yeah.
I know. Interesting. So,
I don't know. I also feel like it's like what'll it like I feel like it would still take so much for him to pass his own teammate, like unless like
well, it's crazy to me though. Like, you look at the year that McCaffrey has had, and I mean, it's like, admittedly, like it's not the greatest season of a running back ever, but he has been the clear top, like running back, like non-quarterback offensive player. I mean, he's been unbelievable.
yeah, for sure.
And I'm just like, if a guy like that with this kind of season can't win the MVP, I'm like, I mean, what is it going to take again for a running back to win it? Like, I just don't know that they can. It's a quarterback's award.
Yeah. No, exactly. I just feel like it's like how can McCaffrey realistically pass Purdy in the conversation now, unless Purdy plays like absolute shit. But if that's the case, then the Niners as a whole are probably tanking, and then McCaffrey probably doesn't have that same MVP value.
Yeah.
Should Puka Nacua be the offensive? I mean, just the rookie of the year. I mean, over CJ Stroud, with CJ Stroud missing a few weeks.
Yeah,
Puka
I think it depends on how Stroud comes back, if he does, and then how he
Yeah.
plays. I mean, if he finishes strong, then I feel like it's still his to lose. At least when he comes back, it is. But yeah, I mean, if Puka keeps playing like this and Stroud doesn't, do
Puka's
too much
7-1 right now. 7-1.
Yeah.
Dude, Puka should have like NFL offensive like player of the year buzz. He's been like phenomenal. I mean, Tyreek's kind of, if any receiver's gonna get it, it's gonna be him. But I mean, Puka's like not that far away off the numbers. Like
Nah.
This is what's so crazy to me. Like, the AP NFL Offensive Player of the Year. McCaffrey's -170, and Purdy is 75-1. And I'm just like, how are those things so far apart
Yeah.
in terms of odds? I don't understand that.
maybe it's the farther or like the higher you get in the MVP odds, like the farther away you get from the offensive player of the year
It's
award.
just,
Because you
it's
can't win
crazy
both.
to me that his odds are that far apart.
That is nuts. Yeah, that is nuts.
That's crazy to me.
Not a QB award.
No, it's just like I don't know. I don't really get it, but anyway, it is what it is. I don't vote. All right, let's just to recap the picks. We got the Bills minus 12.5. That's my pick. Kieran is on the Cardinals +4 against the Bears. Bowen, you're on the Browns minus 2.5 against the Texans. We were all on the Patriots +6 against the Broncos on Sunday night. And then we're taking the 49ers minus 5.5, bucking the trend on Monday night. And that
We
is
are the trend.
we are the trend. We set the trend. That's our path to 5-0. And after we do that, when we are having this conversation a week from today, we will be 41-37-2.
that has a good ring to it. Hey,
Yeah.
just to put it on you guys' radar too, I'm gonna be on island time over the weekend and into the week. I'm gonna be back Thursday. I don't know what time my flight is on the way home. But I don't know if Thursday will work. Might be a Friday if you guys have availability. I just don't know what my day looks like Thursday.
Yeah,
So just to throw that out there. I'm sure we'll be talking throughout the week, but just to throw it out there, I might not be available Thursday. TBD.
No, I think Friday should be fine. I mean, I don't work next week.
Right.
Kieran, I don't know what your schedule is. But there's only one. So next week there's a Thursday game. It's the Jets and Browns. That's gross. And there's one Saturday game, which is the Lions and Cowboys. Great game.
That's a good game.
But outside of that, like there's no real rush to get the games in. So again, I don't work next week, so I can be available anytime on Friday, so we can depending on what your guys' schedule is on that Friday. We can
I don't work all next week either, so that Friday I'm just chilling. So
yeah. Karen, what's your schedule next week?
I can check right now. Hold on. I think I just have the weekend off though. I do think I'm working Friday.
But we could do like Friday night or something,
Yeah.
yeah, no worries. Hey, Kieran, are you gonna be married?
Yeah, I think so for the weekend.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm working. I'll be working Friday, but yeah, we can figure something out. We'll be able to
Yo,
fix it.
KB, let's try to get a late Friday night showing together in the same room.
That could be
You're gonna
something.
be married Friday night.
Yeah.
That could bring some crazy energy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Talk about sparks. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's something worth thinking about.
All right. Well,
like
yeah,
it.
we'll be talking, but
All right.
All
all
right.
right.
I'll
Let's
see you
do
guys.
it. All right. See ya.